You're right. All right. So for my internship, so for background, I work with Elliot Weitzel at Alba Reyes Agency Farmers Insurance. He was my older brother's landlord in Ocean City in the summer of 2018. He told my brother that he needed someone to help him with their website, and my brother recommended me. I worked with their programmer at the time on their website prior to you. This semester, I continued to work on my IFRU, but I continued to work on Priority U, but also started working on another site called myifra.com. Priority U and MyIFRA are both WordPress sites. WordPress is an open source content management system. The sites use plugins to expand the functionality of their site, and we use cPanel and Notepad++ to create the web pages using HTML. So Mr. Weitzel was a network engineer who did contract work for Allstate. He learned everything about the insurance agents while working with them. Also, most of the insurance agents were lawyers, so he also learned the law. He created his own insurance agency, and he has 22 years of experience in the industry from an IT marketing and insurance company's perspective. And he believes people are unrepresented against their carriers. So he does one of the features of his company is the Price Watch service. Shopping your insurable property causes insurance companies to compete to earn your money. The goal is to save people $50 a month, which is $600 a year, and $6,000 after 10 years, and it can be potentially even more if you invest it. Mr. Weitzel wants to help people get all the money they legally can from a claim. They would represent the person, and that person would only have to pay the adjuster instead of paying a large percentage to the lawyer. And he tries to educate people on what the insurance is about, what the coverages are for, and what the law is in the state they're in. So the first things I was asked to do was do some research. So the first research I did was on URL masking, and that is changing the domain name in the address bar to show a different URL than the page's actual URL. Makes the URL seem less random and easier to understand. Like this URL right here is from the priority registration form, and he would want it to be like priorityU.com / registration form instead of just random numbers. I ended up advising against this. The search engines think you're trying to deceive them into displaying a page that normally wouldn't be displayed, and they might delete the site from their databases, so you couldn't be on their search engine, so I advise against that. So another thing I researched was funnel marketing, which is guiding a customer on their journey from learning about you to then buying from you. The first stage is building awareness of your brand, which is two ways to do that is create an email list asking people or letting people know about your site, and then you can also ask them what they think about their site, which will make them check out your site and see how they would want to improve it. The second stage is building interest. You can create a blog to show your personality and expertise, and you can also send regular newsletters to keep interest in existing customers. So the third stage is transitioning to sales. So you should end with a call to action. Basically tell users how to get to the next step, and you can have them call you, fill out a form, or any other way that you could potentially convert them into a lead. So I also did research on search engine optimization, which is making certain changes to your website design and content that makes them more attractive to the search engines. We use WordPress plugins like SEO Slides, and here's the SEO Slides right there. That's a plugin we use. The Priority U is on the top result on Google, Yahoo, and Bing, and I don't know if you can see it, but there it is right there on Google. MyIFRA is the top result on Bing. I've seen it come up first and sometimes second on Yahoo, and it's not on Google yet, but the goal is to be the top result on each search engine page. So I also did research on the conversion rate optimization. This is the process of enabling people to take action when they visit a website. It's used to increase the chances that site visitors will convert into a lead or customer before they leave. MyFRA is a brochure for Priority U, and that's how they do that. And then Priority U's registration page prompts users for their information. So my first task for the websites was to make MyFRA less wordy. I changed the long paragraphs on the front page to bullet points, and it's easier for customers to digest. Because basically, you don't want a new customer like coming to your site and seeing a bunch of really long paragraphs, and then they might not want to read it and leave before you even, get a chance to work with them. So I also did customer registration. We linked the registration form from the front end site, MyIFRA, to the back end site, PriorityU.com. This is to store the information in the PriorityU databases. We use PHP to link the registration button on the MyIFRA.com to the registration form on PriorityU, and we also changed the header and footer to say MyIFRA. And here's the Priority registration form, and it says MyIFRA right there, and you can't really see it, but down there, and I'm going to go into that later. So a chat, we also were asked to make a chat feature. The chat service, so customers could communicate with their insurance agent, and it would allow customers to send important documents to their insurance agents. It couldn't be implemented though because of the website's vulnerabilities, which I'll get into later. And I recommended moving the sites to another server on their own so they wouldn't have the vulnerabilities from the other sites impacting them. So SSL, we put SSL or got SSL on the sites. SSL uses a public and a private key to create an encrypted connection between the customer and the website. We added the domains to the SSL certificate in cPanel. This is the Priority U SSL certificate. We added all the domains for Priority U. Both PriorityU.com and MyFRA.com utilize SSL. Their URLs both start with HTTPS, but only PriorityU.com has the lock icon. And we're working on getting the lock icon back for MyFRA.com. So for vulnerabilities, we recently check the site for vulnerabilities. This was like a week ago, so we haven't been able to fix them yet. That's our next step. To check for vulnerabilities, we did penetration testing, which is simulating different attacks to find the vulnerabilities. Excuse me. So we use tools like WP-Scan, Metasploit, Nmap, and other tools to do the penetration testing. One main vulnerability we found was open ports. Any ports that are open are vulnerable to an attack. So solutions that we could use are to close unused ports and use a firewall to filter out the malicious traffic. So another vulnerability we found was xmlrpc.php, which provides remote connection to the WordPress. It allows for brute force attacks on users' password. An attacker can check 1,500 passwords a second, and that's only counted as one attempt. So we have a plugin called WordFence, and this contains a web application firewall that can be configured to block brute force attacks after a certain amount of attempts. But again, 1,500 passwords could count as one attempt, so that could be a really big attack. And possible solutions could be disabling it, and adding two-factor authentication, or adding a password to the WordPress admin directory through the cPanel. And there's the WordFence plugin at the bottom. And another vulnerability is that we are susceptible to a DDoS attack, and we want our customers to be able to use the website whenever they want to. We also might lose new customers' business if they try to check out our site while a DDoS attack is occurring. A possible solution is to use an intrusion prevention system to detect and filter out any malicious traffic, or use a VPN to connect the website to an encrypted server to hide the website server's origin. So for the future, I plan on continuing to work with Mr. Weitzel. The first thing I plan on doing is fixing the vulnerabilities, because the site is always going to be susceptible to attack while there are vulnerabilities, so you gotta get that out of the way first. The next thing I'm gonna do is to get the lock icon back for my ifra.com. And then I'm going to continue working on the chat feature for the customer portal that wasn't possible at the time because of the vulnerabilities. I'm also going to fix the SEO for my ifra.com and get it to the top of the search engine results. And after that, I can start new things. Those are all the things I was asked to do originally, so I can start new projects for him. So in conclusion, this internship was a really great experience for me. I learned many things like website creation through the research I did in creating websites using a content management system like WordPress. I also learned how to create web pages using HTML. I learned about the difficulties of website vulnerabilities and ways to prevent them. I learned how to implement what I learned at Frostburg in a real-world setting. I also learned what it's like to be an employee and how to communicate with my employer. And Mr. Weitzel was a great boss, and I look forward to continue working with him. So now I'm going to go into the websites a little bit and kind of show you what I was talking about. So this is my ifra.com, and first you can see right here that it does say HTTPS, but it does not have the lock icon, unfortunately. And then you can see on the front page that some of these were converted into bullet points to make them a little easier to read. And so again, the register button will take us to Priority U. So I click that, then we go to the Priority U registration form, and as you can see, it says my IFRA at the top, and then at the footer as well at the bottom right there. So then we'll go on to Priority U, and I already have it on Google, and you can see that it is the first search engine result. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then as you can see, Priority U does have the lock, and it does have the HTTPS. So I'll go into the WordPress for one of them, as well as the cPanel for the Priority U. So for Priority U, here are the plugins. So here's a quick glimpse of the plugins. Here is the SEO slides, which were used for the search engine optimization in order to get Priority U to the #1 result. And then here is the WordFence security plugin, which has a web application firewall. And then we'll go into the cPanel for Priority U, and we'll first go into the file manager, and then we can go to the public HTML, and then here are all the web pages that we created, or not all the ones we created, but some of them that we did. And then here is if you go to the security and then you go to SSL/TLS, then we can go to this one. Mm-hmm. Then we go to here to the manage SSL, and then you can see that we have the domains on the SSL certificate. And that's basically it. So thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Zhu, for helping me out with this. And if you have any questions, let me know.